Hello, my dear ones. Let me fix this. Yeah, make sure that... I apologize. I've been so busy. I haven't been able to do videos, and they had some hung up because there were some problems with the YouTube for us, and so I apologize. I haven't been able to get to some of your questions here. Pile's getting quite large here. I know, and I apologize immensely. I was just hoping that we have enough information up there to help each and every one of you get well. Whew, so humid here too. I've been out, let's say for the last 2 weeks, I've been out in the ditches. I ran probably a mile of electrical and water PVC under the ground. Just working in the garden. There's had a major project. It's like, oh my God. It's so humid down here. If you guys can't sweat, come on down. We'll get you to sweating. But I love you guys, miss you guys, and let's go over some cases here. I've been a couple things to read that people sent me, and then Shannon found a better part of this fruit diet back in the 1800s. To see, a fruit diet has often been known to cure when every other remedy has failed. I love this. I read that to you before. And then, look, she found more. She found the newspaper that it was in. Pretty cool stuff. I wonder who wrote that, too. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Because it's true. You ever notice, I was just talking to Marcy about that. You know, when you go in the fruits and the vegetables, you notice how your symptoms disappear? For some of you, it could, create more pain and stuff like that. But remember why that is. Whenever you're in a chronic level of lymph stagnation and you have chronic acid, which is just simply chronic acidosis, any type of astringent draw on that's going to cause you pain. Just the nature of the beast. Everything is locked in there, and so anytime you get a hydrating astringent going, it can hurt. You can feel that. But this is so good, so good. And thank you for the elk antlers. Elk antlers. Yeah. Excellent. Animals give. I love animals. They give. Give. Okay, so this was one. Scary news. Could essential oils cause cancer? So they were specifically addressing which ones? Discovered that each one had come into contact with lavender and tea tree essential oils in the form of soap, skin, lotions, A team from the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences later ran tests on the way human cells interact with lavender and tree tea oils. Excuse me. They found that both oils were able to mimic the actions of female hormones. Which ones? While at the same time inhibiting the effects of male hormones. Oh, really? The result was a disruption to the body's endocrine gland system. In other words, the oils mimicked estrogen, and acted like anti-androgens. It's a scary finding when you consider these two oils are extremely popular in a whole range of personal products. Interestingly, the team at the National Institute of Environmental Health Sciences researchers reported that the oils did not alter the levels of the usual forms of hormones in each of the boys' bodies. It just piled on a new factor, one these developing children clearly didn't need. It is also not known whether the oils would affect others. Perhaps, it could affect the whole glands and everything else. It's enough to say this, guys. Oh, let's see here. They are powerful. This is interesting because essential oils of lemon, for an example, which is made only from the peels, take something like 85 lemons to produce an ounce of the oil. This is one of the reasons why the FDA has been somewhat cautious about internal use consumption of essential oils or oils. I find that interesting in that man loves oils. We love all these oils from olive oil to grapeseed oil. Those are the better oils. But then you get into the canola oils and you get into the other oils, all the seeded oils and stuff like that, safflower, sunflower, all these type of things. The problem is that oils, when you look at, now so take a look at mother's milk for an example, all right? So let's look at the three basic types of chemistry that people kind of think about. They think of carbohydrates, they think of lipids or fats, and they think of proteins. So these are the three major factors that we look at when we look at a food basically, right? So your proteins are your nitrogen side, which is your carriers and maybe some building blocks. Then you have your carbon side, which is your carbohydrates. That's your energetic side. That runs everything. Then you have your lipid side, and your lipids are more acids. Actually, your lipids help to buffer the proteins. So when you take a look at mother's milk, your lipids are right in the middle. The highest part of mother's milk is about 7.5% carbohydrate, 3.5%, let's say, lipids, and less than 1% protein. Wait a minute. I thought someone out there was telling us that we needed all this protein. And whoever that was, bad karma, because so many people are getting hurt on all these protein diets and just destroying themselves. So, and when it comes to essential oils, I'm one of those that be careful with them. Be careful with them. Some people like to go overboard on everything, and be careful with them. Remember, you can put essential oils on the skin, but Germany, I think, allows, 1 or 2 drops internally. I'm not sure about that. Now, here's a case, and I was told not to read any names, so I'm not going to read any names, I think. Something about a dentist son. Anyway, this individual's had 20 years of behavioral problems, but he's currently in jail and has had 2 other arrests, all related to his destructive behavior to property. His father's home, hotel rooms, apartments, and most recently to my home, and his inability to keep jobs. And this is a mother that, and I've seen this before, and the sad thing about this is that as a parent, you expect and you want a healthy child, right? This is what we all want, because anything less than that can create serious burdens, not only on the child, on the parents, on the finances, and everything like that, right? So enter the medical profession. These guys are the narcissistic ego freaks of the world. They think that by putting all this toxic chemistry called vaccines into our children, that'll keep them from catching these diseases that they don't even know anything about, and by then causing seizures, ADD, ADHD, autism. You can go down a mile long with this, and we're still allowing them to do it. I'm surprised that they haven't been hung outside the barn and tarred and feathered. When you start destroying the children of the people, what do you think? You got to change your viewpoint about the AMA, because they've made you think that these are nice little people in white coats. They couldn't hurt anybody. They're there to save the world. That's crazy. They're the top killing machine on the planet. We're the saviors. All the natural health people use the remedies created by the Creator and understands basically when someone suffers what they've been doing. The interaction of chemistry is vital to understand, and if medical people don't understand that, then I don't know what to tell you. But you must rethink this idea of running to a medical doctor when you have a symptom and not understanding what the symptom's coming from. Most medical doctors do not understand symptomology. Everything is either in your head, or it's an autoimmune problem, or age, or something like that. None of it's factual. And you want factual stuff, and our babies are getting bad. A lot of them are dying, a lot of them are being hurt, a lot of them are being killed by the AMA. Don't have to be that way. Doesn't have to be that way. We can save probably, out of 100 children that die, I'll bet you $500,000 we can save 96 of them. Easy. Easy. So, So, I've had parents, I had a dentist once whose son became a Jesus freak over in Hawaii. He lived on park benches. And of course he was doing drugs, I think, stuff like that, but he turned into a Jesus freak and lived homeless and loved to eat out of dumpsters. And his father was a dentist and had spent years trying to help him, and had reached a point a lot of parents reach. Frustration. Can't deal with you anymore. I had a mother with a lady with her young daughter from vaccines, had seizures and had like a palsy thing coming, and The girl was so difficult to live with. She couldn't deal with it anymore. The mother, that's her baby. But the got so bad and out of hand that it stresses the parents beyond belief. We have a society that understands nothing. We have a society with its head up its butt because we've trusted all these people, our politicians, which have done nothing but come back on us, passing all these laws, stealing our monies. I mean, we have a world that needs to be turned around. We have a world that needs to learn what ethics are, what morals are, particularly ethics, how we interface with each other, how we love each other, how we can create a utopia on planet Earth. Not supposed to be, but we could. So some parents reach the limit of this, and I get that. The problem with some of these children, it's hard to get them to take the herbs and things like this. It's hard to get conformity. So I got a hold of this young man, this dentist's son, brought him in, and I worked on him. And I got him better. I got him out of all his problems. I got his mental health issues pretty much straightened around to a certain point. And then I met with him, had an appointment with him. I said, you know, I think you're pretty good now. I said, now you can get a little job, get yourself a car. A lady gave him her apartment by her house, so he had free rent. And I said, you don't have to eat in dumpsters anymore. You can go buy your food out of produce sections. And he looked at me and he said, why? I love eating out of dumpsters. And I said, good. I said, I'm done. I'm finished. I said, I've taken you as far as I can. When you have an individual that enjoys what they're doing, you've taken them as far as they can, no matter what it is. What you have to realize as parents is that you created their body, genetic bodies, but you did not create the soul. And that soul, that individual, has been on journeys and everything else. You don't know who that individual is unless you're a spiritual woman or man and you communicated with that entity that is inhabiting your body that you created for that. All we do is create bodies so souls can come and use them. That's all we're doing. And because of eating all these acid-ass foods now, we've broken down the body to the point that the genetic weaknesses of the cells are at an all-time major low. And the lymph systems are beyond belief. Beyond belief. Man has gotten himself beyond belief in the level. I mean, I could show you a collage, a collage of pictures of the people that come in here with the tumors and everything else, and it just, hard to deal with. Hard to deal with. So this individual is currently 29 years old, has been challenged since 3rd grade. So, what do you get back in 3rd grade? Vaccinated, vaccinated, vaccinated. You get vaccinated all through here. These guys, I tell you, I'm real passionate about that. That's obvious. I think medical doctors that give vaccinations should go to jail. Do not pass go and do not collect $200. It's sad. Okay, so he's been challenged since 3rd grade. You know that, you know immediately that's vaccinated issues. Immediately, because it's neurological. Vaccines are neurotoxins. Right? Behavior problems started then and escalated once, suspended from high school for drinking. To my knowledge, no hard drugs or pharmaceuticals are involved. Well, you can be thankful for that. This individual has smoked cigarettes, to the best of my knowledge. His diet has been on and off, sad, along with some veggies and low fruit, no alcohol or other drugs. We can be happy about that. This individual graduated from high school, and he graduated high up in his school. He quit a good job he had with an accounting firm because one of his coworkers looked at him funny. So you get into things like this. This individual's had multiple jobs and things like this. I can tell you, and I can go on and on about this story. He's got 2 semi-automatic pistols. They've got those. His dad and I were both concerned at one time, attempted by Mike to meet with us and to kill them. They thought their own son would kill them. You know, this sort of thing. All I can tell you guys, when you get into cases like this, and even if it's your own child, I only know that you can change behavior patterns and you can change the chemistry and the structure of the human body. You can get through the physical side, you can reach into the emotional side, working on the adrenals, you can reach into the etheric side through the thyroid. That is the side that is self-worth. that either you love yourself or you don't like yourself, you hate yourself or whatever. That's your thyroid, parathyroid glands. When these are weak, you have these problems. It's like when your liver's inflamed, anger is the side effect of that. Look at the alcoholics that keep inflammation in the liver. They have a lot of anger, a lot of them. And we see that in here. We get a lot of angry people sometimes, and once we clean the liver, everything goes peaceful again. So it's that sort of thing. Acids and irritation create anger and create, all types of problems. So the first set, in my opinion, the first set on any of these children is that we have got to change these diets. We have to bring in the understanding of how the body really works, the lymphatic system, and the type of foods the human body is designed to eat. My God, that's in our face. We know it. I mean, you can't deny it. And the only way to get to these people, if you can get them down and you can keep them on a 3-4 month trek where you're using upper circulation, brain and nerve, you're deworming them, deparasiting them, you're going after the liver, you're cleaning them, getting the acids out, you're hydrating. You're getting smiles on their face. You can use essential oils, not essential oils, flower essences. Flower essences like moonshine yarrow. Moonshine yarrow. I was working with a mental health clinic in Naples at the time, and that was the same time of the Oklahoma bombing. Well, the psychiatrist that ran the clinic, her husband worked for the State Department, who got her clinic got to work with the paramedic and firemen in the Oklahoma bombing. If you've never been to war and you've never seen body parts all over the place, and it's a little hard on you when you first see body parts all over the place. And so, sometimes you have to work with their mental states a little bit. But she was telling me, and we sent that out there, and a lot of firemen and paramedics were using it with great results, but she had a case where a young lady came into her office hysterical. She was just raped by her dad, and she was hysterical. And the psychiatrist didn't know quite what she had in the little bottle of moonshine yarrow she was using for herself. And she says, "Open your mouth." Quarter of a dropper full sublingually, and the next thing you know, this girl's sitting down in a chair going, "Wow, what was that?" That was cool. That was cool. So you can use these flower essences on these individuals to help them, to bring about that more emotional stability and things. Flowers are going to reach into the emotions in the astral world and stabilize. The colors and the smells are stabilizing and nirvanic and exciting. So that's why bring flowers. I mean, if you're you can put someone at your house like that, bring flowers, get rid of everything that can create, and really get them tie them down. But that's the only way I know is to get in, if you can get them compliant. That's the problem. There's this one lady, we've tried to work on the daughter and work on her, but it takes time when you're grossly involved or chronically involved in some of these deeper areas. It just takes several months to get you. I think everyone should plan on 6 months, and if you're in a wheelchair, give yourself 2 years. You could be up walking before that, but you're not going to be running. Maybe some had. I remember we had one guy here, this has been 15 years ago on the YouTube, hadn't it? But some guy there, he was a paraplegic. He was walking in 6 months. He was up walking around and enjoying himself in 6 months. Now, we've had Lou Gehrig's and other cases up and walking in 6 months, but walking pushing the stroller, which is still walking, but not walking like that. And so it takes a little longer than that. You just have to dig in and look at these things and work on it and work on it and work on it. There's so much involved. Karma, why you're in the situation in the first place, what did you do to create that? There is the physical expressions of that, the types of diets and everything like that. So it just takes a while to get in and correct your world. But correct it you can. And that's the point. Start now. The consciousness, you can change like that. The body takes a while to follow suit because it's in creation. You are not. So, I would work it that way. Because any type of treatment, what kind of pharmaceuticals do you treat to work with people like this? They have no clue. And then using pharmaceuticals generally sends them into the next world. because then they either kill themselves or become killers and everything else. If you look at all the school shootings, most of them, they were on, matter of fact, up till these last two, and I don't know about them, but most of the other ones they found were all on antidepressants. What? But people are afraid to go after the pharmaceutical industry. Why? Why are we afraid of anybody, going after anybody for hurting us? So my take to you, sweetheart, with this is somehow you've got to get him compliant with a diet and herbs. And if you can do it for a few months, even a few weeks, should start to change some of the behavioral problems. But when you get this inflamed in the body, an acid diet will just irritate him even more. You got to realize chemistry can affect all things, including moods and everything else. We live in a world of pure chemistry, and you have to use chemistry to work yourself out of that. Understanding that chemistry is energy, and energy is consciousness, and all of that, you're still talking about bodies. And going back to in the third grade, I'm pretty sure you're talking about thimerosols and things like that. So you're talking about neurotoxicity. And we get neurotoxicity from a lot of other things. Pesticides, herbicides. So if you're around those things, those are neurotoxins. Some of you ladies, perfumes and body things are neurotoxic. So you have to really watch all of that, you know. So that's the only advice I know to tell you with cases like this. Is you have to be able to take care of them and feed them right and get them on the herbs and flower essences. But like the dentist's son, there's a certain point where you can't do anything, and either you have to distance yourself and let them go as your children or not. I mean, it sounds wild, but just remember, these souls are not yours. These souls that are using these bodies that we make for them are their own world, are their own journeys, their own beings. And some of them are not always friendly with their parents. A lot of parents have children that are very, very difficult to deal with. And I don't know, you know, I'm not a real good one to ask about that one, to be honest with you, because I discipline my children. You know, I believe in discipline. Because there's an old saying, if you're not raised with self-discipline, you never have self-discipline. And that's a problem. There's so many people out there that don't have no self-discipline. They can't discipline themselves. They can't eat right. They see a need to change, but they can't do it. And that's why disciplining your children is vital growing up, because it helps them to develop self-discipline. Very important. And if you live in a world where you think you can communicate and have no discipline, think again. You know, I spent how many years as a God-man here on this planet, and I've interfaced with a lot of spiritual beings that's tried at this level, proper communication, spiritual interactions with their babies, young children and stuff like that. And if you don't develop discipline, then you have children that run all over the place, climb the cabinets. I mean, there's no discipline. We had a couple like that, and every time they would come over, and we'd have Ekis or whoever coming over, and they would jump on the bed and run on the couch and everything else, and, oh, you know, you don't want to do that sort of thing. And it's like, oh, no? That's what I'd be doing. Excuse me. Okay, this is something else. This is a case. This is one of our LDs. She's a local distributor overseas. I think it's overseas, UK. And a lot of you guys overseas are working real hard with people. And some of you are working with us as wholesalers and stuff like that, you know, where people can buy herbs. But this individual is having a gentleman here that just, he's not being mean or anything, but he's just being constant with questions and constant. All I can say is that there's a certain point where you have to sit someone down and you have to say, listen, you don't have the money for me to answer every question that you have. How about reading a book, taking some self-responsibility, learning the program, which there's plenty of books, and of course we teach you the program, very simple, not complicated. But when the mind kicks in, there's always these buts and what ifs. So there's been plenty of great books written. From the natural hygienic people, there's fruitarian books, there's great books. And I've tried to turn everybody on to the health research, who has tremendous volumes of books on raw foods and spirituality. We have to take responsibility for ourselves. We can't burden other people. I know we get excited and someone has the answers for us, but we also have to take responsibility and learn for ourselves, because it's us that have to take the journey. People that come to you for help, it's their journey. And you're the way shower. You're the spiritual being with the awareness of the lymph system and how to conduct yourselves in life. You guys are learning, and you're the most beautiful people. I think we have one of the best YouTube sites only on the educational side. And what you can accomplish with this information and what you guys have accomplished, it's amazing. I mean, the things we're getting in here, the testimonials, it's blowing our minds. How many of you are getting your remedies? So it's exciting to see that. But you would understanding truth, wouldn't you? You would when you understand what creates things and how you reverse that, right? It's that simple. But we've been living in an intellectual period in human lore. But we're also learning that intellectualism can be your downfall. It can be your ruin. And a case in point is most medical doctors who have reached the level of narcissism. Look at on the news that one ER, now this is a female. Not a real good looking one either. She was a female ER doc, and she was going after a football player, a basketball player, one of these guys, and she was going after him like crazy. No bedside manner whatsoever, and I've seen a lot of these docs with no bedside manner. So what happened to your compassion? There is none in these people. You might think that, but these, when you start getting above the emotions and into the intellectual side, you don't have emotions. If you're an intellectual, you'll be hard-pressed to have emotions with it. And if you're an intellectual and you have emotions, that's pretty good. Because generally, when you use your mind, you're lost into that. And that takes you away from being the emotional kind. The people that are more emotional and adrenal are more your spiritual people. More difficult for an intellectual to enter the inner consciousness than it is the emotional people. It's easy for the emotional, the astral people to enter because they just let go. But the intellectuals just can't let go of thought and thinking and processing. And as long as you do that, you're always in creation. But you're always separating yourself from others, because the mind isolates, separates, analyzes, compares. And so when you use your mind, everybody's always separate. As you get closer to consciousness, everything becomes one again, because everything becomes the creator expressing itself. So it's pretty cool when you look at it that way. All right, so let's want to do a private video for this one. I don't know. This Jen B asked me if I want to do a private video for this one. I haven't even read this one. I don't even know what's going on here. Can I read it out loud? I mean, no one tells me I can't read it to you guys. I wanted to start off by saying thank you for all your educational health videos. You are amazing. I want to keep this short, as I know you are very busy. I have a huge dilemma. I went in for a simple blood test for an annual checkup and found out that my liver enzymes were elevated. After further testing of blood work, ultrasound, and an open MRI, wow. Oh yeah, you got the contrast. Oh God, honey. Who is this? Oh, this is Tracy. Got the contrast. Remember I was telling you that Chuck Norris is suing I don't know how many pharmaceutical companies, and so is a lot of people. Probably going to get into a class action because these contrasts are so toxic. His wife is having major health concerns with it. It was found that I have a small liver cyst. All right, 2 centimeters. Hemangioma, and a growth that is 6.5 centimeters. Woo! That is either an adenoma or an FNH. I went to a top liver surgeon in Dallas, Dr. Robert Goldstein. Have I heard of Robert Goldstein? I wonder if this is the same Robert Goldstein I know. for a further diagnosis and said the tumor has characteristics of both. If it is an FNH, he would not do surgery for a liver resection. With the adenomas, they can turn cancerous and I could have it removed due to the size. The next step is to have an additional MRI with the other contrast that is supposed to light up. Well, let's stop right there. First of all, who gives a hoot what kind of tumor it is? Who cares? There's the mind. Well, let's see what kind of tumor it is. If it's this, we can do this. If it's that, we can do this. If it's that. Oh, really? Well, how about what she's got going on is enough to elevate the liver enzymes, right? So that's inflammation. Well, wait a minute. Inflammation is the natural immune response of the body. To what? Acid-forming foods, honey. Acid-forming foods. And the only way to correct this is get back on your fruit, your vegetable diets, and particularly your fruit diets. Get on your herbs, get your kidney, get your lymphatic system filtering. Because when you see a cyst or a tumor, and I don't care what you label the tumor, okay, doesn't matter. Oh, let's do this. Let's give you another toxic contrast so we can label your friggin' tumor. You know, that's where you got to say, wait a minute. I know what causes tumors. It's my lymph system. You don't understand that system, but I do. Now I've got my I got my blood work. I know what I'm up against. Now I can take care of myself because I know what's going on. I know I have a tumor and maybe a cyst, and that is what system? That's your lymphatic system. It's not your liver. It's your lymphatic system in your liver. All right? So you can go after the liver if you want, but your success won't be great unless you go after your lymphatic system. So if you're backed up in the liver like that, let me tell you, you're also backed up all in the bowel wall. You probably have malabsorption. You could be backed up across the street, which is the pancreas, a gallbladder, spleen. I mean, when you start seeing tumors and cysts, doesn't matter if you have a cancer cell in or not, who cares? Who cares if that tumor wraps interstitially and takes the cells with it? Going to anyway. You can't let the medical doctors scare you when you see that. This is a tumor in a place, it's your lymph system backed up, and you've got to fix it. You can't have these, what if you had your liver resectioned? All right, now your liver's your chemical factory. So you just lost a big part of your chemical factory. Now livers can rebuild real nicely, no question. But what's to stop it from getting another tumor in it? Because you didn't fix why the tumor. See, this whole idea of fixing symptoms and treating symptoms has been the medical doctor's biggest bane. And because they're focused on that, they don't understand causative factors. And you want to understand causative factors, Tracy, if you get in trouble here, honey. So, a tumor or a cyst, a boil or a pimple, skin, all the lymphatic system. You go after that system, get these tumors out, and liver tumors are easy to get out, and you'll be successful. What do you have to do that? You have to get your kidneys filtration. Remember that? Remember filtration of the kidneys? The gook in the bottom? Essential. Or you're going to see your liver enzymes go up and up and up. You didn't give me how much they were up, though. You know, if you have elevated something, just give me your numbers and I'll help you to understand where they are on that. I didn't know about the contrast heavy metal until after she did not know about the contrast heavy metal until after the first MRI. Yeah, that's sad, ain't it? They need to have a big warning. We're going to give you the contrast if you want it, but it is going to be toxic to you. Yeah, I'm going to probably end up killing you, but can I use the procedure anyway? I am not sure how I have these growths. All right, sweetheart. These growths take place when your kidneys fail and your skin fails to filter your sewer system. This is a sewage problem. Now, those tumors can be swollen lymph nodes. Same system, same problem. The eliminative organs is where your problem's at because they're not eliminating and everything's backing up. Just like if someone broke your septic tank, broke it down or took it out, how do you get rid of waste? You're not. And this isn't just the liver, my dear. This is all through you. Your better take would have been an iris picture where you had no dyes or no nothing. We could have seen your liver. We could see it. Now, we might not be able to tell you there was a tumor this big in there, but we could have told you your lymph system's backed up to the point you could have had a tumor or something in there, and you just go after your lymph system, and out comes the tumors. But these growths come from stagnant lymphatic systems. These are interstitial wastes, which are acid byproducts of metabolism. And they will blow back. A lot of them are proteins, and they will blow back on the cell if the body didn't have the inflammatory process. The inflammatory process, it brings in immune cells, it brings in calcium, it can bring in cholesterol. There's a lot of different types of immune responses we've talked about. And you see them in everybody. That's where you start developing problems. Cholesterol problems, calcium problems, things like this. Osteoporosis, connective tissue problems, all these things like this. And all this is a byproduct of acidosis. Pure and simple. You don't have to get, where are these growths coming from? What's happening to me? Is the world coming in on me? No, you're creating this, Tracy. We all are creating this. Let me tell you, what goes in, what goes in, what goes in, what goes on, that's your chemistry. It's either going to make you healthy or it's going to break you down. You got two sides of chemistry. Realize that. That's what we do. We eat chemistry, we breathe chemistry, we swim in it, we bathe in it. Birth control use pop. No. I have 2 small uterine fibroids. Yeah, now we're getting to it. All right, there's your other tumors. I mean, basically, you're going to see these happening all through you if you don't get a hold of this. Same problem. These fibroids are created from the same problem. Endometriosis, ovarian cysts, same problem. Isn't it nice to know that you have one problem that you can go after and fix that one system and you'll fix all the others? Pretty cool, isn't it? Now, if you got cellular problems, you can use herbs, individual herbs for those cellular genetics, or those weaknesses. But you have a fluid problem that's becoming a cell problem. I realize those are caused from estrogen meat diet, if I understand correctly. Throw the estrogen out of there, guys. Estrogen is not acidic enough to damage a cell, in my opinion. If it did, that would be a serious problem why God even made it. Same thing with testosterone, but it will do this. All right, so let's say you already have acidosis, right? Acidosis means that you're not removing metabolitic waste interstitially around the cells through the proper channels of the lymph nodes, and the kidneys and skin. Okay? Now, when that happens, these acids back up. These acids are 3 pH until they get to the lymph nodes, around 3 pH. So when you with arthritis and all this that have been on all the antibiotics and killed your bacteria in your body, the medical doctors give you nothing to break down these acids because they've killed your health. So now you're full bore 3-point pH acids, and now you hurt bad. Gout, uric acid, probably 2.76. Ouch, ouch, ouch. And when it's chronic, it's systemic. And that means fibromyalgia, lupus, Lyme, all those type of diagnoses. And all it is the lymphatic system systemically backed up at a chronic level. That's when it becomes extremely serious. That's when you start mutating and you're getting yourself down and out. Okay? Now, simply put, acids come from cells' activity, cells' metabolism, from the body's interaction with chemistry and activity. Just running down the road creates lactic acid muscularly, right? So the more activity, the more lactic acid. It's an acid. Now, how do you get rid of that acid? Through the blood? That has been the medical doctor's most stupidest thing they've ever come up with. No, you have a whole system that deals with that, and that's the lymphatic system, and that's why it's a lipid-based system to deal with the acid side of chemistry. You don't need lipids dealing in the electrolytes. So, all these acids, if they can't get out, you'll get what? Swelling. Swelling. And since this is acids, it's going to have a corrosive effect. Look at a chemistry book. Acids are corrosive. It will have a corrosive effect upon the cells. Well, a cell wall is full of HDL, phospholipids. In other words, cholesterols, to block or to neutralize or to protect the cell membrane wall from acid damage. So there is protection, plus the lymph fluids or lipids, plus and plus and plus, and then you have immune responses of calciums and things like that, additional cholesterol, edema, water coming in, trying to help these areas of stagnation. But if you can't get this lymph fluid to move, what do you think a tumor's full of? Every tumor you have is full of what? Lymph fluid. Matter of fact, you ever get a tonsil stone out? That's what your tumors are full of. You could aspirate a tumor, really, unless it got too hard. So, where did it come from? It came from your inability to filter your lymphatic system properly. Pee in a jar, see if it's clear. And you really, really want to, you've got to fix this or you can't deal with those tumors. And if you cut them out, they'll grow back or grow more places because you didn't fix anything. You simply removed the symptom. You want to fix why you're doing it, right? Because you don't want any more, right? Right. And until you do that, you're going to go to one specialist after another specialist, and the bottom line is liver dissection. And if it's cancerous, then now you're at another level. Simply means that you just have a cell in there that the acids shoot up. That's all that is. And if you go freaking out like the medical doctors have, you have to realize that most people die under the diagnosis of cancer from the treatment of cancer. But when your lymph system is backed up that much and you're forming tumors, you're moving yourself toward death anyway because you're creating high systemic acidosis. So it's your road to hell, Bill, you're walking down. If you want to turn this car around and move to Wellville, you've got to change your chemistry interfacing. You've got to interface with alkaline-rich chemistry, your electrolytes, your feel-good chemistry, not your corrosive, ouch, ouch chemistry. I have currently started a vegan diet, but for the most part of my life, I do not eat fast foods and have been delinquent. It doesn't matter. You have to get up to the level of fruit, berries, and melons if you want that lymph system and those kidneys to open up. You've got to get up to the highest form of energy and astringent-rich foods that are available. Vegetables will not get you anywhere when you're going after tumors, in my opinion. I mean, you could go on a diet of green drinks and probably get rid of minor tumors. But with the uterine fibroids, you're now telling me that your lymph system's backed up all through you, which it already is. Get a picture of your eye, sweetheart, and that'll tell the tales. All right, let me see here. I have recently started, I have been diligent with food labels due to my children having reactions to vaccines and food dyes. Well, you know the problem is with that, what I read into that, what you just said, sweetheart, I read labels. If you're reading labels, you're eating the wrong foods. The food you need to eat has no labels on them except the price taker, and that's your fruits, your berries, and your melons. You shouldn't have any sticker on them because that's not living food, and you're in trouble here. And if your lymph system's this backed up and you have children, guess what? Their lymph systems are your lymph systems, sweetheart, so you've got to clean their lymph systems or you're going to have children with tumors forming too. And if you have a tumor forming in the liver, my suspect is you have some genetic weaknesses in the liver as well. So get an iris analysis and look and see. But you've got a hunk on your lymph system, and remember your children's. Allergic reactions to vaccines, no kidding, everybody does almost. You know, it shows that your children's lymph system is a mess. When they have this much reactions like this, I'm just telling you, this is what we have found through 50 years of my work. I cannot even stand the thought of having this contrast put back in my body. Well, why do it? Why do it? Right? I feel that the first MRI may have given me short breathing issues. I bet. Not good. I'm telling you, this isn't good. But it is hard to say because my anxiety was so high for weeks after. See, they slammed your adrenal glands. Slammed your adrenal glands, which made your tumors grow more, probably. I'm telling you. The dye and everything else probably made the tumors grow a little more. I feel pretty normal now. It has been 4 weeks. Some people get deathly sick from the dyes and have lifetime problems. My vital question is for your tumor video. You say all tumors are from an acid body. Does this include vascular growths like a liver? Absolutely. Absolutely. And that means anything and everything, Tracy. You have blood and lymph as the two main fluids that deal with the health of the cells. So anything that deals with swelling or tumors or things that are not cells are fluid based. All right, your fluid base, your fluids, your two fluids, your blood and your lymphatic, are total chemistry fluids. And you have to look at the chemistry and understand why the fluids are the way they are. Why is the lymph system a lipid-based system? And why is it 4 times bigger than the blood system? Why is the lymph system so huge in the human body? And a system that huge they know nothing about, or very little. They do know some things, but very little. So scratch your head. This is Roman. What herbs will help with this? I was born with a high jaundice. Whoa. Does this have to do with liver or my pancreas? Liver. I've been a vegan for 3 years now, but I haven't took none of your herbs because financial problems. All right, then get the tea. Get like the Heal All tea, man. And if you have real bad financial problems and you're in big trouble, write in and Jennifer will look at your case and make a determination and what we have free for you. But you're born with jaundice, you need to go on a fruit diet. You need to go on a 10, 20, 30-day grape diet. Get yourself on fruits, berries, and melons for about 3 or 4 months. Clean that liver out. Get yourself on a detox regimen. Go after the kidneys, your lymphatic system. Because anytime you see, so put it this way. All right, I'm a liver sitting here. I'm your liver. I get my commands through hormones or steroids. But as the cells, all my cells, they get their ability to be strong or weak through the chemistry that's coming into me. What's the blood bringing me? Acid, ash foods, acids, or alkalis? Now, I'm creating acids by the very use of the alkaline chemistry I'm getting through the blood, by my use of the electrolytes and all the goodies that I need, the ATPs and stuff like that. I'm pretty good. I feel good. I got waste produced from that. Oh, my wastes are going out to the cell, going into the interstitial fluids, carried to the lymph nodes and out to the kidneys. The lymph nodes are breaking down the acids with the bacteria. The macrophages are breaking down any cells that have been damaged. Any cells that have been damaged go to the lymph nodes, and the macrophages take care of those babies, including cells that have been dubbed cancer cells. Thank you very much. But if your lymph nodes are swollen and the pathway's blocked, how can you get those cells to the lymph nodes? You can't, and that's why you see so much local problems, because you have stagnation. And after a while, then you start seeing more swelling, water comes in, the lymph keeps producing because the cells keep producing waste, and the bigger tumors start forming. The body blocks it off to keep that acid slurry away from everything, and then they go, let's punch it, let's see what's in there. Yeah, let's go have fun. I've seen some of your videos, but haven't seen nothing on the pancreas and what it does. The pancreas is your main digestive organ for the blood. The gallbladder is the main organ that deals with lipids for the lymphatic system. So the blood needs very little lipids, in my opinion. Your main lipid need is the lymphatic system. So when you look at the gallbladder, it's a lymphatic organ, basically. The pancreas is the main the pancreas, the pancreatic duct, and the small bowels, where most of your digestion and absorption takes place. So the pancreatic duct is vital, the pancreas, and of course you have your insulins there. It's an endocrine gland, so you have blood hormones and interstitial, which is lymphatic hormones. So interesting. You have digestive enzymes. So that's vital. That area of the small bowel and pancreas is vital for your digestion. Remember, the body's a sensory food processor. So you have your 4 processes. Your digestion is your number 1. The body takes complex chemistry and breaks it down to the simplest constituents that it can. Life starts out from its simplest atomic structure, builds complex, and we break it down to the simple structures again. It's life. Birth, life, and death. Simple, complex, simple. And that's what's vital with the pancreas. But what's shared by both the pancreas and the liver and the gallbladder, and it's also shared by the bowel wall, and it's shared by every other tissue in the body. Blood and lymph. Blood doesn't just travel to the pancreas. It travels systemically, and so does the lymph system. With ducts and flows the proper way, with valves and gates to keep backflows to a minimum, things like that. Regurgitations and stuff like a mitral valve regurgitation, a weakness, where you have a regurgitation back to the atrium. I do have a yellow color by the ends of my eyes on the white part of the eye and did blood work. Bun is high. All right, BUN, all right? That is your diet, buddy. That's your diet. That's your urea nitrogens. And you control that completely by your diet. Too much protein in you. And you got to get away from proteins. You want your bun to be about 4, and you want your lab to go, whoa, your bun is way too low. Good. Because healthy people have low buns because lab normals are horrendously wrong. For healthy people, it's your creatinine you want to look at. If your bun is high, my guess is your creatinine is high. And that could be a little on the serious side. That's your kidneys, that's your organs of elimination of your systemic waste. So that's a big deal, man. So you want to look at that. Get your eye pictures. Look at your eyes. I'm trying to give you enough information to do your own eye pictures, but I suggest to you to go on a raw food diet, at least a raw food diet. Fruits in the morning, salad at lunch, and fruits at night. Get on the herbs. Get your kidneys filtered. Get your adrenals up. Get your lymphatic system moving. Or, I don't see how you're going to change that.
Yes.
Oh, hello. I was a patient a couple of years back, and I want Dr. Morse's opinion on something. I had a root canal done 20 years ago, and recently noticed in a dental x-ray that there is a screw where they put the crown. Wow. I want to know if I should have that tooth pulled, since I heard root canals can lead to systemic issues and already have autoimmune disorders as it is. I know it is a decision I have to make, but I would like to know his opinion on root canals. I've had a whole shitload of them. Kids, sorry about that. But I've had a whole bunch of them. When you need anything like that, what system do you think you have down? Cavities, abscesses. What system do you think you have down? You know, I was born between farming and everything else. My dad or grandfather had all types of businesses. So it was a busy time growing up, for sure. But we were staunch milk drinkers. And I mean to tell you, oh my God, it is the worst food on the planet. It's not even a food in my opinion, especially if you pasteurize it. Raw milk, good for the babies of the animals that produce it. But in today's world, in the human body, unless you're a mama on raw foods, most mother's milk isn't too good anymore. And babies are not getting along with it. So the medical doctors are shifting them to formulas. Oh my God. What about fruit? Oh my God. But, again, if the screw is titanium or an alkaline metal, you're not going to have any problems. Because, matter of fact, calcium will grow all over it. It is your acid metals, and I don't know, they might use acid metals now. I don't know. I'm not sure in surgeries what they use. But I would be more inclined to tell you to, you know, when you're talking about, let's look at that. You're talking about cavities and all these holistic dentists, and that causes systemic problems. This one lady had breast cancer, and she claimed it was from her. Bull crap. See, when you don't understand the lymphatic system and you don't understand the systemic nature and all of that, and acids and waste and byproducts, how are you going to understand anything? You don't. So you see a correlation between a root canal or an abscess and, let's say, a tumor in the breast. Yep, there is a correlation there. Yep, good, good. I'm glad they were waking up to notice that. What kind of correlation can we give that? Lymph. It's a lymph system, and it's systemic. When your kidneys stop filtering, the whole side goes down, guys. The whole side goes down. So you can have cavities, abscesses, breast cancers, liver cancer, everything on this side, or anything on this side. Or they both can go down eventually, and then both sides are involved. So I wouldn't get things pulled. I would get things cleaned out. Take that energy you have for having the dentist pull your teeth and go on a grape diet and start getting clean. Make sure your mouth is alkaline. If it's not, use some occasional mouthwashes of bicarbonate or sodium and bicarbonate. And until you can get your lips cleaned up in your mouth to keep your saliva alkaline. You know, it's your lymph system that creates this, and you've got to clean it. That it brings TMJ. I mean, you can go to all kinds of problems when your lymph system is backed up here. The scary thing, you know what the scary thing is? Because there's so many cancers here now, so many tumors and things. I'm going to use the word cancer, it's a stupid name. So many tumors and things here. Is this a byproduct of all the tonsil removal? You know, it can take years after you remove a lymph node to see that much problems. If this is, there's a whole bunch of people in serious trouble. There's a lot of scary thoughts of what the AMA has done to people. A lot of scary thoughts when you understand the lymph system and what happens with some of the things they've removed because of that. So that's what I do. And this thing about autoimmune, honey, or whoever this is, you're going to do yourself a gigantic favor if you take that word autoimmune and burn it out in the trash can. Because there's nothing to that. That's medical doctors. I don't understand the body. I don't understand the lymph system. I don't understand your immune system. Have them explain your immune system. My autoimmune system. Would you explain what my immune system is and where it is and how it works? I'd love to hear that one. I'm a little quirky today, but I've been out in the sun for 2 weeks and I've been on Raw, and I'm a little quirky. I am a 29-year-old male. I am a model. Good looking guy, huh? My question is, can I get a stronger jawline on a fruitarian diet? That's an interesting question. I don't know. You know, what's your family look like? You know, I don't know. You know, when you get into these high levels of regeneration, you're regenerating the very DNA chromosomes. You're into the very blueprints of the body there and into your deep family ties. I don't know. I've seen the body realign itself, restructure itself, especially the spine. I mean, that's almost a given. Your spine will pull itself straight, and any type of curvature, the osteoporosis, or any type of scoliosis or anything like that. But remember, we were talking about cases where your leg was out like this, where I had a case of a quad whose leg was 2 inches shorter than his left leg. His right leg was 2 inches shorter. His femur up here had broken, and they let it heal at a 28-degree angle. So he had a bulge in his thigh, and his leg was up here like this. 11th month, extreme, his video was on there, extreme scoliosis to the right. 11th month. Straight. Exactly the same size. Nobody did that. No, this was gone. This was pulled straight. The body did it. Overnight. I mean, it could have been drawing. We don't have no way to tell. But literally overnight, his wife dressed him for the morning. He worked at the sheriff's department, and it was like, she couldn't believe. Nobody could believe it. I have the X-rays. Someday I'll get those X-rays up and show you. We'll get the camera. I'll throw them up on my X-ray thing here, and we'll show you. Pretty cool stuff. So I don't know. Can't tell you. But you want to look at if you're thinking about bone and all that regeneration, look at your parathyroid. Look at your pituitary parathyroid. If you're a tall guy or a short guy, look at your pituitary. Go after the parathyroid anyway. And rebuild jaw. You can rebuild bone with fruit diets. I've rebuilt a man's whole jaw that they cut out because of, not the whole jaw, but a big portion of it they cut out with a cancerous tumor here. On a fruit diet. Digestion, absorption, utilization, and proper elimination. You fix those 4 things, and your body will hum like a nice new motor from Detroit, Michigan. And you won't even feel that you have a body. That's the thing. If you feel your body, you're too acidic. Because I don't want to resort to the surgery as my staff told me. Oh man. If yes, what is the fastest way to do it? Well, God. Well, I'm going to tell you, it depends on your lymphatic system. It depends on what your body looks like, how fast you can get your kidneys to filter, how fast you can get your body to start absorbing calcium and realigning and adjusting. But you can't make something look differently than what your genetics are, in my opinion, unless you can pull behind genetics and, brother, boy, you know, we're already way out there, but we can ask questions that are way out there. You know, pretty neat stuff though. I mean, when you're getting into this level of stuff and thinking, I mean, pretty cool stuff, don't you think? I do. So I don't know how to answer that. If you're going to try that, I'd be after my parathyroid. I'd be after raw, because you're trying to realign, redo your skeletal system. It's got to be a print to do that too, though, and I don't know where that is. You might have to have surgery intervention, and why though? I mean, if you're a good-looking dude as it is, you're a model, why change yourself? People like you are. You know, you're already a model. You know, some of these models and stuff, they keep changing their looks Michael Jackson was one of them. He looked really good for a while, but he kept changing, and I thought he looked horrible in the end. The way he did his nose, everything, I thought he looked terrible. But earlier on, he looked cute. He was really a cute guy. Dr. Morse, recently I have seen a tremendous amount of kidney filtration when implementing dried dates. I know! Why is that? We're seeing that too. Why is that? So one of you guys will have to come up with it, because I've been thinking about that and thinking about that. Marcy and I have been talking about that quite a bit, and Attila, and it's like, what? It's amazing. It's amazing eating dates, getting filtration. What the heck is that? However, while I would like to believe that this is indeed stagnant lymph, yeah, I know. I don't know. See, that's the thing. You know, the only thing, what we need is labs. We need labs to check our urines and stuff. Check the sediment. What is it? Don't we? Yeah, absolutely. I have come across a lot of evidence that leads me to believe it is instead oxalic acid crystals stemming from the high oxalic acid content in the dried dates and figs. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. You know, the only way you see that in kidney stones, right? Calcium oxalate stones, but you have to have it in the presence of acidosis to have the bond. And that's the whole point of the body being acidic. However, urine should be acidic, but not at the point that you get bonding. And bonding mostly is interstitial. I mean, that's why you see the embedded calcium and oxalate stones. I don't see how a raw fig or date could create oxalate gravel. I don't see that, unless you're so acidic, that these people are so acidic in the presence of that you get gravel out of that. I don't know, it'd be interesting. All I can say is that anybody know good labs, you know, try that and have your urines checked, both with and without the dates and figs and stuff like that. It'd be interesting. That's what we need. We need good lab work now to prove our points and to show what we are and not doing, you know. Is this real filtration or is this dangerous experimentation? I don't think it's dangerous experimentation, because there's nothing dangerous about eating dates or figs. I love them. And they're very, very good. I don't know. Figs, incredible amount of iron in them. Dates, I just love dates. So I don't, Bejewel particularly, you know. Boy, I would say the only way we're going to know for sure, to answer your question there, my one, is have a lab take a look at it before and after, or different urines by different people, and doing filtrations and see what all that good stuff is, you know. I have seen many others experiment with these fruits, and they seem to think it's filtration, as I did initially. However, now I'm not sure. I have attached a photo of a recent urine sample to give you a visual of what it looks like. Thanks for all your help. They must not have given me that. So that's the only thing I can tell you. It's the only thing I can tell you. I would think that it would be difficult eating a few dates to have a lot of oxalic acid from that. You would have to eat a whole boatload of dates to be able to see that much filtration, that much oxalic acid from that. I mean, the contents of oxalic acid in a date isn't that much. These are minor things. So I'd say it's more filtration, but you know, everything's about chemistry, and the proper combination of elements can create. I mean, take a look at the two cases in point. Water, H2O. Why does water feel so wet? Becomes a universal solvent. Does so much. I mean, so much we can do with water, and it's only 2 atoms of hydrogen and 1 of oxygen. Amazing. Look at fructose. Fructose is predominantly carbon. You got some, I think, well, you got 1 element or so of hydrogen in there, but you got mainly carbon and oxygen. These are, these are simple chemistries, but look at how sweet fructose tastes. So everybody's into, oh, fructose is so sweet, it's too sweet, I can't have it, I got to go to glucose. Glucose and fructose and galactose are all simple sugars, about the same levels. Now, there are some differences, no question, but and then you have all your simple sugars in the body, ribose and all those simple sugars. So simple sugar is about as simple a carbon as you can get. Because things taste sweet or wet, we make judgment calls with these things. But the chemistry composition of things really can alter things tremendously. So I would suggest that it's probably something to do with the chemistry makeup of dates and figs as opposed to the oxalic acid. I don't believe you could eat enough to get that much gravel or filtration of that. And it would be gravel more, I would think. So that's all I can help you with that. I wish I could help you more with that. It's a question we've been asking ourselves too. What's the modus operandi to that? But it's a good question. It's a question I appreciate, because these are the type of questions all of us need to ask. And we need to ask them so the world sees it, because the world needs to know our thinking. Kidney filtration, what's that? You know, because we're the God people. We're here to bring awareness to this planet. We're here to uplift, to educate, to teach, to extend a helping hand. That's what godly means. Not to bitch and backbite and talk bad about others, but to say, how can I help you? What do you need? Or if you're spiritual enough, you don't need to ask that. You'll see it. And you can give them what I call the love tap. Or the darshan. All right, hello from Greece. To Greece! You guys almost got out of the European Union. Dang! I wish you had it. Go back to your own currency. I believe those countries that start their own currency will flourish on their own currency, especially backed upon gold and silver. Hello from Greece. I thank God I found you. I thank God you called me from Greece. 10 years ago, my doctors diagnosed that I had Crohn's disease. Excuse me. During these years, I took 3 remedies of monoclonal antibodies. It may be, I get that, Remicade, Humira, all bunch of stuff I don't know how to pronounce. Since 2016, I stopped every medicine because I felt better. Isn't that funny? You have to quit what you're taking for. It's true with pharmaceuticals, though. Holy crap. I had no more strictures in my large intestine, but unfortunately 3 months ago, a new stricture of 17 centimeters was appeared, and my doctor wanted me to have a surgery. All right, so here's the thing. And this is the thing with pharmaceuticals. You have to realize this. There is absolutely no curative value with pharmaceuticals. And I don't believe they make that claim. You know, so you have to realize pharmaceuticals is strictly a treatment-based system for symptoms. So it's kind of like, look at skin problems, psoriasis, eczema, all these skin problems. Going on these different medications, steroids, and pharmaceuticals. Oh, look, it cleared up. Kabam! Then comes the storm, the blowback. And that's the problem you're going to face here, is the blowback from these medications. Because they're not curative, they're suppressive. And anything you suppress today is your nightmare from hell tomorrow. I've said this for years. You can't take pharmaceuticals to treat symptoms and expect not to have a blowback someday. An explosion, if you will. And a 17 long centimeter explosion is a pretty good one. Remember what Crohn's is. Remember what IBS is. Remember what ulcerative colitis is. So what is it? All right. So let's look at the colon. And while we're talking about the colon, let's just walk over to 22 feet of the small bowel while we're talking, because they're the same. They are hooked right into each other. Right? 5 or 6 feet of the colon and 22 feet or so of the small bowel. Right? So, what are these tissues made of? You've got a garden. Let's consider the small bowel a garden hose, and the colon my 1-inch poly. So what I have is maybe a 1/2-inch garden hose for the smaller people, and a 1-inch poly here. So I've got a small hose, 22 feet long, hooking into a larger hose, 5 feet. And we have a valve in between them called the ileocecal valve. It's down at the ileum, the last part of the small bowel. Now, those people that have gastric bypasses, they bypass the whole small bowel. They come back in the ileum right there at the valve. Problem? 95% of your nutrition is digested and absorbed in the small bowel, if not 98%. Only a small amount of micro or trace elements are absorbed in the colon in the first place. So when you're talking about Crohn's or IBS or anything else, you're talking about malabsorption with it. So let's take a look. What is these hoses? What are these hoses made of? All right. So let's take a look. We got a hole going through there. Right. So what makes the hose? What makes the structure to make the hose? Cells. All the structure is made of cells with villi and lacteals and all kinds of things for absorption. It's ringed for maximum absorption. But all this is cells with spaces between them. You either have one of two problems when you have GI tract problems. You either have impactions on the wall, or mucoid plaque on the wall, or herniated, impactions in the diverticuli, or radiculums, or you have interstitial lymphatic constipation, stagnation, which is exactly what it is. In other words, acids are not going anywhere because your kidneys aren't filtering. Acids are corrosive. So imagine acids are just sitting there and the cells are continuing to produce them. Blood keeps pulling them in, cells keep metabolizing, but the lymphatic side of that keeps expanding because cells keep dumping their waste. When that system can no longer carry the waste away interstitially around the cells, around the small bowel, the large colon, the liver, the pancreas, your teeth, your brain, your arms, your heart, your toes, then you have stagnation of the lymph, which means stagnation of the acids. Now you have a greater corrosive effect. The body then initiates what medical doctors call the inflammatory response, or what we call in anatomy and physiology the inflammatory response. It's not a disease, it's the body's natural immune response to acidosis or proteins, foreign chemistry, foreign invaders. or chemistry you're consuming that is foreign to your body. In other words, everything you eat that you think is food is not food to your body. You're a frugivore. So when you eat meat, those proteins are foreign to your body, and your body has to deal with those. Not the proteins for your body that you need. Right? And your body can't use protein anyway. Remember that? Protein is broken down into what? Through the peptide chains down back to what? The amino acid chains. So eating your amino acids from simple amino acid structures, fruits, berries, and melons, number one, a little more complex structures in your vegetables, still keeps it down from making it an acid-ash food. So when you have acid-ash foods coming through the colon, creating inflammation on the wall, and then you've got your lymph system not moving in the wall, you've got two things bumping your bowels that are not good. But all this Crohn's, all this is interstitial, and your bowel wall can get quite thickened with lymph stagnation and acidosis chewing on you till the point of what? Ulceration. So what do we call that? Ulcerative colitis. Interstitial, these are acids causing this. Alkalis don't do like this. You don't get lye in your bowels. So this is all acidosis, and you're burning back on about a 5 pH, about 3 pH, if it hasn't made it to the lymph nodes, and it hasn't by then, so you're getting burnt interstitially in the small and colon wall, liver wall, pancreatic wall, 3 pH. That's like that's like pouring Coca-Cola all around your cells in your bowel wall and letting it sit there. Plugging the end and filling your interstitial spaces in your bowels with Coke. What do you think? Ow, 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 ow. Yeah, bad. And that's what's going on. And the body's trying. It brings in cholesterol, it pulls calcium. It's trying to find alkaline sources to stop it, because chemistry can only use chemistry to fight itself. That's why you have duality. That's why you have acids and you have base. Base is your loving side, your female side, and acids are your male aggressive side. And this is a feminine planet in chemistry, guys. Like it or not? Now, so if you want to get remedy, and I've done a lot of what they call Crohn's in my world, tons of it. The problem is that if you get your bowels so shrunk down, I had a Fox News broadcaster's wife, and she had it so bad. I think I was using some insane number, like 15 or 20 number 5s of mine, and I got Richard Schultz's laxatives, because I don't build laxatives, and I got her to move and move, and finally I got her. I got her kidneys going, finally I got her. But I tell you what, it's like that young man that had his whole colon removed we showed you. God, it can chew you up until it looks really bad. And believe it or not, you can save a lot of that. It's amazing. So, what you're experiencing, and the scary thing about this case here, guys, is that when you take pharmaceuticals for so long, it's just like holding the horses back. Holding the horses back, and then suddenly you open the gate. And wham! The herd comes at you. That's a problem. And it's a real strong probability you're going to have a major blowback. And a 17 centimeter lesion, you could get a lot more yet. They don't understand what they're doing. And everybody's putting their faith in medical doctors' hands, and they're getting a blowback from it, wondering why. And it's like, wake up. This modality is the last resort modality, and they should be reduced to surgeries and ER work only. They're killers every other way. My doctor wanted me to have a surgery. Either I should take a new injection. I have already started eating fruits only, clementines and apples. I lost 5 kilos within 5 days. I started, and my bowel is still making noises, and I feel pain. You're going to take a while to fix this, honey, and you want to get going. I would do apple sauces with cinnamon. It depends what you can eat. If you can deal with grapes, I'd put myself on a grape diet for about 20 days. Now, on following that, though, with that, You get the heal all tea with the marshmallows, the slippery elms, the anti-inflammatories. You want either the heal all tea or the stomach tea. It soothes. It reduces down. It cools down. Anti-inflammatory, or better put, antacids. And you want to work on that. But what would be the most logical thing you want to think about doing? Get your kidneys filtering. Why? This is interstitial sewage. This is your sewer department that's blowing back on you. Blood doesn't blow back like that, guys. It's your lymph that blows back like that. What's in the spaces? What could be blowing back? Cells? I'm just a cell sitting there. What do I know? I'm just a cell that makes up your colon wall. What do I know? I'm just a function and structure. But my consciousness is being fed. My ability to function is being taken care of by the energy I'm receiving. And if it's energy that's foreign to me, that is negative to my consciousness of who I am, I'm not going to receive it well. And that's the problem. So we have to change the way we look at things, and the way we look at the cells and stuff like that, and understand it isn't the cell. The cell's the innocent little fella sitting there just being a cell, structure, function. It's the chemistry you're bringing in that's interfacing with the cell that's the problem. So look at what you eat, what you drink, what you breathe, and what you put on your skin. And the type of chemistry, if it's acid forming or neurotoxic, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get what that chemistry is. You're going to get the effect of that. This life in these worlds are cause and effect. There's nothing unique about it. There's nothing mysterious about it. Cause and effect. If the medical community doesn't understand that, see ya. We do. And it's important because you save lives when you understand that. And especially when you add the understanding of the lymphatic system. Now, she drank Althea tea or warm water with ginger and lemon. Oh, on Crohn's? I don't know. I mean, could be irritating. It would be with ulcerative colitis. I don't know how you get lemon or ginger down there. Oh, you want marshmallows, slippery elm, things that are soothing, antacids. Yeah. What would you recommend for my case of your herbs? Well, I would go on a full bore program, but I'd also use the stomach or heal all tea, sipping it, through the day. Don't overdo it, but just sip it through there and get it down in there. Or the heal all capsules. Now you got the raw herbs right on the bowel wall. You'll have some drawing with the plantain. You'll have some anti-inflammatory. But we're in the wall is the problem. See, in the wall is the problem. Now we have some absorption of nutrients. Good. Yes. But we have to address kidney filtration in the adrenals, just like you have. You have to address that to get into those inner spaces that you can't get to by consumption. You've got to get that hydrated and moving. It's by consumption we can do it, though. We have to do it, but lymphatic system 5 capsules. Okay, you bring up a good question here. All right, lymphatic system 5 capsules. When I write your protocols up, I do put, if I don't see any liver enzymes or problems or anything else, I give you lymphatic 5, no lymph nodes, or I give you lymph node 5 and no lymphatic 5. One of the two. I'm only giving you one lymphatic formula the first month. And that's because that's a strong one. And I'm just giving you one. I don't want to overpull. Now, you take lymphatic 5 capsules on high inflammation in the bowel wall, you're going to feel it. Because bloodroot and poke root take no mercy. I wouldn't use that one. I'd go back to number 4 or 3. Maybe number 1 is my better one in terms of being, okay, or not going to rip you. But I would do that. I'd do the adrenals, the kidneys, the heal all blends for drinking, absolutely. The stomach and bowel formula. Stomach and bowel formula number 1 or 2. If you're not moving, you've got to have a mover. You don't want a laxative because that no way. But you've got to have a mover. That's why Cascara Scribe, no matter what you read, I've been 50 years an herbalist and I've used Cascara. I love it. It's gentle. It promotes. It's not addictive. Anything else, buckthorn, turkey rhubarb, you go on down that side, oh yeah, very addictive, very cathartic, very problematic. In Casey's tea, turkey rhubarb. buckthorn, those sort of things. Those are real laxatives, and they create addictions and things like that. That's not what we're about. We're about health and vitality, about cleaning and strengthening the human body. Thank you very much. Oh, thank you. This is Barbara. Hey, Barbara from Greece. Love you, my dear one. I'm going to have to take a break with these. It's past my lunchtime, and I love you guys. I'm just about done with my journeys and things that I have to do. I've had so much hit me in the last month, things to do. It's just unbelievable. We have so much in plans and working, and I'm telling you, it's so much fun. We have so much going on, and then I have so much to do in my gardens and things. But I love you guys. If you need any help, you don't wait till I answer these questions, guys. You call in here. If you have an emergency thing, you call in and ask advice of these people. They'll get someone to answer it for you, because I might not get to you in time. It's like the lady that was thinking about doing another dye and have the liver tumors and stuff like that. No. You need good advice. And you're not going to get good advice from medical. They're going to give you the advice that they know. And that's all they know. They're locked in that. They're lost in that. And they find anything that's not that. I'm open to medical. I'm open to medical thinking. I'm open to surgeries. Of course, you know that. ER, I spent a lot of years in emergency rooms. I am not open to medical thinking. It does not. It is an oxymoron. There's nothing to it. But I like the equipment. There's some of the tests that are pretty cool. Some of that. But there's also very toxic stuff and very deadly stuff involved as well. What we need is to make a great modality out of ours and use some of the medical devices and things that would be fun. Labs and research. You know, our research department is not all medical, guys. Science is not all medical. I don't know why people link science with medical. Science is science. You got universities that come out with findings that are opposite medical thinking. Get that Science News. Science News is a great magazine. I love those guys. And they call a spade, and whether it's harmonious with medical thinking or not. We have to be truthful, all of us. We have to start teaching all of us to be truthful and honest. You can't beat honesty. If it doesn't fit you, it doesn't fit you. Take it like a man or a woman. But honesty is the key to being happy and being real and loving each other. And if you're going to be honest, then those of you that want honesty, then you have to take it when it's given to you. I love you guys. Thanks so much for tuning into our YouTube site. Really, I'm amazed at how beautiful you all are. I'm amazed at how all the healings that I've been told a lot of things, but sometimes you don't believe everything you're told. And it's just amazing to watch.
Well, yes. She'll be right.
Yeah. Thank you all. Love you so much. Be back soon.